Hey, I'm Markia. Want to hear something scary?
La Madremonte. Mira Miller could feel the adrenaline pumping through her veins. The thrill of the hunt was what drove her and her old college buddies, Jason and Lotus, across the globe to find new game to track in places they didn't need a permit, or at least where they could pay enough money to have officials look the other way. The cotton-top tamarin, an endangered species of primate that lived deep in the Colombian forest, was to be her latest trophy. She was determined to either capture one for the illegal pet trade or hunt it, another distinctive head to mount on the wall of her den. The poachers spoke in hushed whispers as they trudged through the trees, accompanied by the chirping of cicadas and rustles of leaves. After hours of nothing, they heard a screech, the cry of the tamarin. Mira turned her compound crossbow upwards towards the highest branches. As her finger rested on the trigger, a sharp tug yanked at her leg. Mira yelped, tumbling to the ground. Her arrow missed, firing into a tree nearby. "Mira, what the hell? You had it!" Jason called. She looked up, the primate long gone. She glared at Jason, seething. "Thanks, a lot," she snarled. Stomping off, she gazed back up at the now ominously orange sky. She'd never seen it look like that before. Mira suggested they all head back to the lodge, as it would be getting dark soon. The trio trudged back through the dimming forest in silence. A half hour passed, and there was no sign of the path they'd previously taken. It was almost as if the landscape had changed. The three of them hadn't spoken for a while, so she assumed the others felt the same way, that they were utterly lost. Before Mira could turn around to confer with them, she heard a noise. A quiet clicking and a rustle of bushes, and something else. She raised her weapon, scanning the menacing trees. The forest was quiet, too quiet. She turned. Lotus was crouched, weapon also poised at the trees, but Jason was gone. She was nowhere to be seen. They swore that just minutes earlier, she'd been right behind them. Mira felt disoriented. Lotus looked just as confused. They called out, hoping to hear a response. Instead, there was only a clicking sound and strange shadows just out of sight. Jason wouldn't play this kind of prank. Something was very wrong. As the hair on the back of her neck began to prickle, Mira shouted, "Run!" The women ran, Mira in the lead. Lotus didn't even have time to scream as a large, shadowy creature swooped in and grabbed her from behind. The hunters were now being hunted. Mira was beset with panic and tripped over a loose root on the forest floor. Rubbing her ankle, she realized Lotus was no longer behind her. "Lo?" she called, but as before, she was met only with silence. Limping, she looked ahead at the seemingly impossible. The trees in front of her had somehow blocked her path. She could only retreat, heading backwards. As she did, she felt wet drops land on her cheek, along with the unmistakable stench of copper. Slowly, as her heart thumped with terror, she raised her eyes to the forest canopy. Her legs wobbled and she gagged at the hideous sight. At the top of the canopy were the bodies of Lotus and Jason. The women were tied above with vines that pierced through their bodies like barbed wire. Their insides were wrapped around the vines, painting the dark green forest red. Blood spilled from their mouths, dripping down on her face. As she stumbled and fell to the ground in horror, a long, knotted wooden arm reached towards her, clicking and snapping, its nails sharpened to the peak. Bright emerald eyes glowed within the darkness, illuminating a mass of hair made of leaves. It looked like a woman, but a monstrous woman, with green skin, vegetation and sticks springing up across her body. Her teeth were sharp, spread wide in her crooked, malicious smile. Mira screamed, petrified, as the creature rushed in, swiping with her machete-sharp limb, and then walked back into the forest with her trophy. A few days later, 3 missing persons notices were pasted all across the nearby county, but the bodies of the trio were never found. La Madremonte, Mother Mountain, was victorious yet again. She slides within the shadows of the forest, watching and waiting for those who trespass and those who break the laws of nature for their own gain. A deadly fate awaits those who dare try.